Just when I thought I had lost everything, I discovered a hidden truth that changed everything. And not just for me. The CEO summoned me for lunch, only to drop the bombshell. We're changing course. Having forged a tech division from the ground up, I now face being usurped by the owner's nephew. It happens, I said, forcing a smile. Everyone was blind to the storm I had sensed for months. I'm Marcus Thorne, 42, and for 11 years, I've been the heart of Riveron Manufacturing's IT. You wouldn't guess it from our website or quarterly reports. I forged our network security from nothing, back when Windows XP ruled and passwords clung to sticky notes. Transformed a small help desk into a bustling team of 30, ensuring 3 production facilities operated around the clock. The machines keep grinding in Milwaukee, just like I do. I never meant to stay that long. I took the job after my divorce, a temporary distraction as I searched for my next step. Yet, I excelled, truly excelled. Somewhere in the journey, those servers and networks transformed into my own, not by the law, but in every way that truly counted. Lunch unfolded at Maxwell's, a refined spot draped in white tablecloths, where executives with clients they wished to dazzle. It wasn't the right setting for a dismissal, yet Arthur Finch, our CEO, thrived on maintaining a facade. "Marcus, you've been everything," he said, slicing into his steak. "We crave new insights, a visionary to guide us into the future of technology. We discovered a cheaper option who won't challenge the board's foolish choices." Julian's nephew, a brilliant mind, just completed his master's at MIT, specializing in digital transformation. I nodded, swallowing hard as I took a sip of water. "Who's in charge of the shift?" Arthur's tension eased. I was silent, but the air crackled with unspoken words. "In 6 weeks, everything will change. Stay tuned for the announcement at the all-hands meeting." I signed the NDA before dessert, smiled, shook his hand, and said I understood that tough business decisions were necessary. At my desk, I realized my admin credentials were gone. They took my name off the leadership team email chain. It was settled long before lunch, perhaps weeks back. Sleep eluded me that night, not from anger, despite its abundance, not out of fear of the job hunt. It all stemmed from a revelation in the server logs 3 months back. Unauthorized access attempts flickered from an IP address I traced back to the executive floor. A shadow breaching the unseen, eyes scanning my secrets, my defenses, my lifelines. They weren't merely replacing me. They were extracting every ounce of knowledge I possessed first. 16 years ago, I followed Sophia to Milwaukee, a leap into a new life after our vows. She walked away from a solid security job in Minneapolis, driven by the promise of graduate school here. Youthful, driven, unstoppable. I knew I would uncover something. I never saw the divorce coming. 7 years of dreams, then a stark reality on the kitchen counter. "We want different things," she whispered. Silence shattered, no signs to foresee. Finished. It's over. Riverton took me in when I was at my lowest, crashing on my brother's couch. After a ransomware attack, they desperately sought someone to mend their crumbling network infrastructure. I thought I was just passing through, but then I glimpsed a spark. Their expertise lay in machines, yet they faltered with computers. Everything they built, millions in gear, countless jobs, teetered on the edge of chaos, one crash from ruin. I presented Arthur with a bold 5-year transformation plan. He handed me the budget and stepped back, allowing me to unleash my vision. For 3 long years, darkness consumed me. Every network, completely reborn. Skilled hands ready. Backups and fail-safes forged in urgency. As the Northeast plunged into darkness, we stood alone, a beacon of light amidst the chaos. The board saw it all. Arthur began taking me to meetings. My budget soared threefold. I assembled a team, Eleanor, my unwavering ally, and Leo, a coding wizard who could tackle any challenge. We had become so much more. We were the heartbeat of Riverton, ensuring clients never faced a missed deadline. In 2019, Julian Vance, the majority owner, gripped my hand firmly. "You transformed us into something new," he said. "Your systems were our lifeline for expansion." I believed I had discovered my home, a spot where I truly belonged. Last September, The first crack emerged. A consultant arrived unannounced to scrutinize our digital infrastructure. He probed into the very systems I had crafted, his questions cutting deep. When I inquired about who sanctioned the audit, he pointed to the executive team and swiftly shifted the conversation. Suddenly, the board meeting minutes vanished from the shared drive. Server cleanup, the note stated. In December, Arthur began to cancel our weekly briefings, each time offering a plausible excuse. During the New Year leadership retreat, I caught Julian discussing his nephew's graduation. He claimed to be a genius with computers. Silicon Valley firms clashed for his allegiance. I barely gave it a second thought. Could have been. The last blow hit when Eleanor mentioned a meeting she was invited to, a strategic planning session that should have been mine to lead. As soon as she spoke my name, Arthur abruptly shifted the conversation. Something was wrong, she whispered, as if they were scheming behind your back. I dismissed it, unwavering, just as my ex used to say. 2 days after lunch, I found myself alone in the server room at 7 p.m., the silence heavy as shadows crept in. The software machines wrapped around me like a soothing embrace. Rows of servers pulse with life, lights flicker, and the hum of cooling fills the air. I chose each piece with care, crafted the backups. This was my sanctuary. I traced the console's edge, a decade of my existence concealed within these walls. Burning the midnight oil, Caleb Hayes, Julian's nephew, loomed in the doorway. Sharp lines, luxury timepiece, effortless poise. He was barely 30. Only routine checks. I insisted. Do you need something? Understanding the terrain. He strode in, exuding an air of possession. Arthur said you'd take me on a tour soon. Did he really? Caleb scrutinized the server configuration. Classic charm, sturdy and reliable. Timeless. 8 months since the upgrade of these systems. Your documentation is impressive, he said. I've been going through your protocols. I got a few bold ideas for transformation. He spoke as if granting me a mercy. Can't wait to hear them. The words were dry and bitter. Once he was gone, I collapsed into my chair. Access logs revealed secrets. Caleb's credentials emerged just 3 weeks before my fateful lunch with Arthur. He held the keys to everything. I've gone through every piece of my documentation library. I grabbed my phone and shot a message to Leo. Can we meet tomorrow, just before work? Coffee at Joe's, 6:30. Don't be late. That night, I drove to the lakefront, parking where Sophia and I once shared sunsets. The water lay dark beneath the cold winter sky. Memories of the day Arthur made me director flooded my mind. He had called you the backbone of this place. Your absence would leave us stranded. It seems even backbones can be swapped out. Leo sat at the coffee shop, shadows clinging to his eyes as I walked in the next morning. He sensed the darkness lurking beneath the surface. They're pushing me aside, I declared bluntly. He nodded, a heavy silence hanging in the air. I sensed something was off. Their questions were strange, and they wanted me to break down your systems. When will it happen? A couple of weeks have passed. He stared into his coffee, lost in thought. I regret not telling you sooner. I held no blame against him. Leo had children, a burden of debt. What's your move? He inquired. It struck me only when he asked. As I sat there, observing the early morning rush outside the window, a profound stillness enveloped me. A clarity I hadn't known since discovering Sophia's divorce papers. They believe it's all in the documentation, I whispered. Yet deep down, we understand the truth. Leo leaned in, heart racing. The exclusive tools, the clever solutions. I nodded, heart racing. The uncharted patches I created, unseen in any guide. The bespoke surveillance system. An enigma only a few can grasp. Marcus, I won't destroy anything, I promised, but I won't let go of what belongs to me. Leo locked eyes with me, a brief pause hanging in the air. Then he nodded, a silent agreement forged. He grasped it fully. Text, I demand every piece of what I created. Personally, I insisted. I must uncover who remains faithful. The official announcement shattered the silence of the all-hands meeting the next week. Arthur at the podium, words electrifying, a shift in the air, new visions igniting hope. Caleb stood close, his smile perfectly timed, yet something unspoken lingered in the air. Arthur spoke of Marcus's vital role in our IT infrastructure, his gaze elsewhere. We deeply appreciate his contributions as we prepare for Caleb's leadership in the coming 6 weeks. Whispers surged, electrifying the air. The IT team stood frozen, disbelief etched on their faces. Eleanor's gaze locked onto mine from across the room, a wordless plea. I offered her a barely perceptible nod. After the meeting, I demanded a sit-down with Arthur and HR, highlighted that many systems Caleb would inherit were crafted by me during late nights with my own development framework. The employment contract is clear, Brenda from HR stated, pushing the document across the table. Everything you create here belongs to the company. Not everything, I shot back. The System Sync interface was created prior to my arrival at Riverton. I gave the company the rights, but the ownership remains mine. The original agreement holds the truth. Arthur squirmed, tension crackling in the air. It's been a decade, Marcus. The company has transformed. System Sync is complete. Each update, each integration, was a testament to my original code. I leaned in closer. I don't mean to complicate things. I deserve fair compensation for my ideas. Arthur and Brenda locked eyes, a silent storm brewing between them. We'll investigate, Arthur finally declared. For now, concentrate on the shift with Caleb. I recognized that gaze. Time was slipping away. The following morning, my access to the development servers vanished. During transitions, follow the security protocol. Check the automated email. Caleb gathered the team, leaving me out in the cold. His annoyance flickered at my arrival, but he masked it swiftly. Marcus, it's good to have you here. I was sketching out crucial changes to the network architecture. I pressed my back to the doorframe. Fascinating. Which architecture? Exactly? He spoke with unwavering certainty about the main production floor systems. We're cutting through the chaos. The protocols guard against machine failures when a load peaks, I stated calmly. Custom crafted for our gear. Caleb's smile faltered. Today's systems eliminate the need for such convoluted solutions. These aren't just workarounds. Eleanor cut in sharply. These are vital changes for our unique system. Marcus crafted them in the wake of the 2018 collapse. Silence enveloped the room. Caleb's confidence faltered just for a heartbeat. I value the history, but we must push ahead with the streamlining. He faced a whiteboard, leaving me behind in silence. That evening, an email from legal landed in my inbox. The company claimed complete control over all systems, including System Sync, invoking a clause that declared integrated technologies as its property. A $5,000 technology acquisition bonus was on the table for me. It was the following day that the true betrayal struck. I found out Caleb had arranged individual meetings with every member of my team, not just transition talks, but complete job evaluations. He weighed his choices carefully. Leo reached out to me afterward. He questioned the necessity of your systems, probing for flaws, seeking to unravel your confidence. That night, an email from one of our suppliers appeared in my personal account. They were lost in the complexities of the new licensing agreement from Riverton, a mystery to me as well. I opened the document. Arthur made a move, handing over my supplier integrations to a startup run by Caleb's old classmate. They were shoving me away, heart and soul. They tore apart my world, piece by piece, and sold it away. Desperation surged as I attempted to access the backup servers, only to discover my credentials stripped away completely. Let the battle begin. Time was running out, and I craved power. Now. Riverton had been reckless, teetering on the edge of disaster. They had been plotting. The timeline sharpened into focus. Caleb was here, dissecting my systems, poised to take my place while siphoning off all my knowledge. That night, I contacted Ethan Bellwether, a network security expert from my past. We crossed paths at a roadside diner, a spot far beneath the notice of high-flying executives like Arthur. Legally, you're in a tough spot, Ethan said, his eyes narrowing as I laid out the situation. But something doesn't add up. Why cast you aside now? The company is thriving. I can't understand it. I confessed. I'll search for answers, he promised. Simply collecting details. Nothing invasive. At 11 p.m., 2 days later, Ethan's call pierced the silence. This is a must-see. He discovered SEC filings revealing Riverton's impending acquisition. TechCore Industries, a Boston-based manufacturing giant, was on the brink of a pivotal acquisition. The deal hinged on Riverton proving its upgraded tech and capable leadership. Ethan explained they're tidying up to enhance the sales appeal, and your systems are a key attraction. The valuation highlights the unique manufacturing management interface. Connection established, syncing now. But wait, there's more. Ethan pressed on. Julian Vance pulled the trigger, liquidating nearly all his shares last quarter. The acquisition serves only Arthur and the executive team, leaving others in the shadows. They land golden parachutes and high-ranking roles at TechCore. The moment that shattered me wasn't a takeover. Discovering emails revealing that Arthur and Julian had plotted my replacement over 6 long months was a gut punch. As I battled exhaustion to mend a critical security breach, they were busy interviewing Caleb. I drove to the old industrial park, the place where the system sync architecture was born, just a fleeting idea in my mind. In my car until dawn, I watched the sky bleed gray over forgotten warehouses. Returning home, I stumbled upon an ancient external hard drive hidden in my closet. I connected it and uncovered the truth I sought. The original system sync code, before Riverton. Proof of my journey, 8 months of development before I even stepped through the door. The email surfaced too. Arthur urgently needs me to merge System Sync with Riverton Systems. He recognized it as my own creation. His vow to make it official when the dust finally cleared. I had faith in him. Deceive me. The following day, Caleb summoned me to a meeting with Arthur and Brenda from HR. We're speeding up the change, Arthur declared, no hesitation in his voice. Next Friday marks your final day. 2 weeks, not 6, I realized. Is there something behind this? Brenda's voice was steady, but her words cut deep. Caleb has shown remarkable talent. Honestly, Marcus, your attitude has made this handover anything but smooth. I nodded, a weight in my chest. I understand. Caleb insisted. All documentation and training must be done by Wednesday. Absolutely, I answered, my voice unwavering. What about who owns System Sync? Have you had a chance to look over the original agreements? Arthur's face turned to stone. Our legal team has confirmed that all integrated systems are owned by the company. The separation package is substantial. Marcus, you should take it. I rose. My lawyer will go over it all. Arthur's warning hung heavy in the air, a plea wrapped in tension. It won't alter the result. Stepping outside, I shot a quick text to Leo. Tonight, it's Plan B, 7 hours later, in the dim light of a grocery store parking lot. Leo pressed a flash drive into my hand. He whispered, I give you everything you wanted. Code bases, logs, keys, each a heartbeat in the digital realm. I expressed my gratitude, then questioned, why are you doing this for me? He stared into my soul as if we were all just cogs in a machine. I poured my heart into documenting every detail of the weekend. The original sync code, emails with Arthur, licensing agreements, dates that prove I created the core technology before Riverton. Monday morning, I arrived early to find Eleanor at her desk, exhaustion etched on her face. Did you hear about the accelerated timeline? She asked, her voice laced with urgency. I nodded, the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air. How is the team handling this? Struggling deeply. Caleb held emergency planning sessions all weekend, desperately trying to dismantle your monitoring system. She whispered. It fell apart. 3 critical alerts from the production floor slipped through the cracks. Is anyone injured? They shut down Line 3 for 4 hours, costing $40,000 and halting production. I masked my feelings behind a calm facade. That's truly unfortunate. Marcus, she faltered. I feel it closing in on me. Caleb questions the need for my role. I had a feeling it would come to this. Eleanor understood the harsh truths that lay beneath the surface. Will you trust me? I whispered. Without a moment's pause, she acted. Absolutely. I pushed the sealed envelope toward her, tension crackling in the air. If something unexpected occurs this week, read this. It reveals all. That afternoon, I met with 3 patent attorneys, urgently filing provisional patents on crucial elements of System Sync. only the vital parts, the ones that kept the machinery alive. On Tuesday, I finished the transition documentation Caleb needed, joined his planning meeting, and responded to questions with courtesy. The perfect worker. In the shadows, Ethan worked tirelessly, crafting a secure server far from prying eyes. By midnight, I had moved every line of my original code, crafting a standalone version of System Sync, free from Riverton's grasp. Wednesday morning, an email from TechCorp Industries landed in my personal inbox, an invitation to explore shared business interests at the regional office. Word spread of my departure from Riverton, and they craved my insight. Someone was playing it safe. I sent the email to my lawyer, then called TechCorp's VP of Operations, proposing a meeting after my official exit from Riverton. He nodded without hesitation. That night, I set my plan into motion. With Leo's saved credentials, I swiftly updated 3 vital components of System Sync. I implemented a digital signature verification to ensure the code remains untouched by unauthorized hands. The license now expires in just 8 days, 1 day after I leave for good. I forged a clear and decisive legal transition path. The system would thrive, but only with a signed licensing agreement. Only creation remains. No harm intended. Fighting fiercely for what belonged to me. On Thursday, Caleb dragged me into his office. "Some team members think you've been acting oddly," he said. "Is there something I need to be aware of?" "I'm just trying to finish it all," I said. His gaze pierced through me, filled with doubt. "Tomorrow, after you leave, we will change all system passwords and access credentials. Just routine. It's clear," I replied, "but it won't change the essence of System Sync." "What does it mean?" "The system operates seamlessly, unaffected by any admin changes. That's where the magic lies." His gaze flickered, weighing whether I posed a threat or merely shared a truth. He made a grave mistake. He waved me off, leaving me hanging. "Legal will see you tomorrow for the final paperwork." As I stepped outside, Arthur brushed past me in the hallway. A faint nod. 11 years, gone in an instant. By midnight, all was set. I dispatched the last message to my private server. Alpha 7 verification sequence. Complete. Time was slipping away. On Friday morning, I handed in my badge, signed the exit papers, and turned down the celebration lunch Caleb had planned, leaving Arthur visibly relieved. As I approached my car, Leo's voice pierced the silence. "It's over," he whispered. "Caleb has just locked everyone out by changing all the admin passwords. This afternoon, a complete system review is underway." "Thanks for the heads up," I replied, my voice steady but my heart racing. "What comes next?" he questioned. We wait, hearts pounding. I stayed home, silenced the unknown, and finally found peace and sleep after months of restlessness. At 9:17 a.m. on Monday, as the production floor surged into full swing, every System Sync across Riverton's 3 facilities flashed the same ominous message. "License has lapsed. Reach out to the developer for renewal." At 9:20, the first production line came to a sudden stop. At 9:45, darkness fell over all 3 facilities. At 10:30, Arthur reached out to me directly. "What have you done?" His voice wavered with a desperate edge, masking the fear beneath a facade of control. "I did nothing," I said, my voice steady. "The software license has run out. As a developer and owner of System Sync, I'm eager to dive into renewal terms." "This is sabotage," he spat, eyes blazing. "It's just standard license management." I corrected him sharply. "Review the original integration agreement from 11 years past. Clause 7 makes it clear. Riverton was licensing the technology, not buying it. Stillness envelopes the call. I've sent the licensing agreement to your legal team. The terms are clear. My ownership acknowledged, fair compensation for ongoing use, and a vow of silence regarding my exit. That's pure extortion. It's just business," I said. Such moments unfold. By 3 p.m., their lawyers had scrutinized my documents. At 5 p.m., the ink dried on the agreement. 3 days later, I faced TechCorp's vice president of operations in their downtown office. He pushed the contract forward, tension crackling in the air. "We're still taking Riverton," he said. "We need you to spearhead the technical integration as a consultant, not as an employee." The pay was double what Riverton offered, with complete freedom over my hours and where I worked. What happened to Caleb? I pleaded. The VP's expression darkened. Mr. Hayes is moving on to new horizons. I signed the contract that afternoon, sealing my fate. 2 weeks later, Leo called to say Caleb was gone, quietly stripped of his role. The truth was darker. He had fled, leaving everything behind. 3 major clients threatened to pull their contracts after relentless system failures. Arthur held the title of CEO during the acquisition, yet his position at TechCorp fell hollow, ceremonial, stripped of power, isolated from the real decision-makers, with only a grand title and an office to call his own. No relief, only a stark realization. I had done what had to be done. The next month, my first consulting check became the down payment for a tiny cabin by the lake. A simple retreat, a deck poised over the water, where silence speaks volumes. A place where the sun dips and ascends, painting the sky with fleeting beauty. 3 months later, Eleanor joined my consulting team, followed by Leo. In the end, half my old department stood by my side, not beneath me, allies in a thriving venture. It was a year later when I unexpectedly saw Arthur at a downtown restaurant. He began to walk away, but hesitated, approached my table. "You won," he whispered, his voice heavy with unspoken weight. I gazed at him, truly gazed, the tension etched in his eyes, the disheveled suit. He had aged. "It wasn't about winning," I said, and I meant every word. "It was about recognizing your true worth." He nodded, then turned and vanished into the distance. I lingered, eyes fixed on the city lights flickering to life across the river, lost in thoughts of systems, those we create, those we shatter, and those that endure beyond our time.